why are
Yeah.
you named after a terrorist organization? It's like, no, it's just this, pretty strong ancient Greek Egyptian goddess that was kind of a prominent figure, and we thought that was like pretty awesome correlation until about a year and a half opening. And we decided we wanted to make a place where you could come out and get really good food and see quality entertainment. We felt like there was a little bit of a disconnect between those two things. There was places you could go and get really good musical experience, but the food would have been something on the back burner, or vice versa. Or you come in to get really good food and acoustics aren't good and the room's echoey and there's a lot of reflection and glass and stuff like that. So we try to want to marry that together. So the concept was just that, just to have a good place for people to come in and enjoy a full night, a full evening of entertainment. So you didn't look at your watch and try to leave your dinner to rush over to get to this, and you also had a good quality meal all in one spot kind of deal. So what info that was giving me. We walked into the restaurant industry as a novice. None of us were restaurateurs. None of us had been in the music industry. So, you know, that in its own, you're always kind of taking like, you're going to be a little bit surprised by how everything works. I'm not, I didn't come from running a restaurant previously to opening up my own. So a lot of this was a learning experience. And I think that's probably the best way to learn is to make every single mistake that you can and then go from there. When we had to pivot into the COVID situation, we are going from being open Tuesday through Sunday with brunch on Saturday and Sundays, but these are up to 12 shows a week and multiple days open. So we had a lot of hours to generate sales. So we also had on a Tuesday, if you and your truck came in, you had Tuesday through Sunday to utilize your product. So there wasn't as much of a weekly focus on waste being a bigger issue. Now, when you're open Thursday through Sunday, and when Sunday comes around, you don't have just a Monday off and then a Tuesday to get that product back and prepped and everything utilized and kept fresh. If you're only open 16 hours of business hours or 14 hours a week for sales, you have to be not only really efficient in sales during those times, but you don't have a lot of much room for error. So if you have $500 or $600 worth of waste, it's a lot bigger when your sales are not double what they typically are that week. So everything gets magnified. Being able to keep control of food costs can help you out in other arenas. I would rather have a lower food cost than I can maybe have a higher labor cost. Then I can take care of my employees. They need these hours per week to be able to pay bills. And if I'm able to gain that back and lowering my cost of goods, whether it be beer, wine, or food's going to be the main thing that you're going to be hemorrhaging on if there's some kind of issue. And then if you find that something's high, you know where to look. I know where to, if it's beer going down for free, or if it's liquor being spilt, or if it's food going home with people, or being cooked wrong and thrown in the trash. So, being able to feel good about where those are, because otherwise you have no idea. And the pivot with COVID, yes, we've got to run a tight ship in order to make this work. Because if you come out and say, we'll just try it, and you've gone through that and for 2 months and you said, whoa, we're better off being closed than we are being open, it's a loss for everybody, not just for ourselves or the business or the owners, but we've not only went from 27 staff members pre-COVID down to 12, but now down to 0. Being able to try to navigate those situations in a way that you're not making your team feel like they are being more stressed out, or they're going to have to reduce their hours, or they need to look at their watch, or I'm looking at sales and say, man, you need to get out of here. I can feel a little bit more comfortable about, hey, listen, we're running a, there's 9 of us here. It's a little bit easier to keep track of everything. Let's be very, very conscious of using these products in multiple ways. So that cauliflower, well, maybe we can do some other stuff with the floor if we're just using the florets, or you know, and do it in a way where you're looking at a menu, you don't see cauliflower in every dish, because I would notice that. Getting creative in a way where you're using product to its fullest, and every time you do that, it's going to help that percentage point, which it's not necessarily about putting $1 in your pocket and walking away. It's about creating a situation in which you're not stressed, and that stress doesn't translate into the staff, because if your business is going to be stressed, there's no way to hide that. I mean, you can feel it as a patron coming in. People are very perceptive. So from a waste standpoint, I guess we try to keep that from going into the garbage can to begin with. Using a lot of that byproduct to make stocks. Like I said, if you're using that cauliflower to roast, maybe you can use the byproduct to make a puree. And trying to keep. We are trying to focus on not putting the product in the trash can. A lot of that can be you try utilizing it through your staff. We've got some scrap stuff. Let's throw together some food for the staff or something like that. Where we can actually try to get it out, try to get it utilized. No one wants to put pretty good stuff into a trash can where no one can utilize it. The only way to make decisions about food or menu items or one of those key decisions is being able to have good info. Having something set up to where you can look at it and feel good about those decisions you're making is, I think, nice. And it's just setting up a system, and there's no right system. I think that it has to be something that you set up for yourself and it works for you, and you can read it, you can generate info, and that you feel a little bit more informed about what's going on. Because you can stand in a night, and I've had it happen several times where things feel one way and they are another. If you're thinking about opening up a place and you have an opportunity to utilize another restaurant, another management, someone else's money to figure out how to do that, that would probably be a good utilization of your time if you're trying to really get into this industry. I mean, if you want to open up your own restaurant, you're going to need to know how to manage people. You're going to need to know how to hire people, and you're going to need to know how to lead them. And it's not just yelling at them and telling them what to do. It's making them feel good about what you're trying to do together. And that's kind of you can cook all the greatest food in the world and keep costs down and maybe be profitable, but it's not going to be fun if you don't have people in the kitchen that are having a good time, or people that respect you, because then it's just going to be an employee issue constantly. The most valuable commodity is going to be those employees, because they're going to be the ones that's going to be throwing stuff away, cooking food, respecting you or disrespecting you, or not having a good time or having a good time, or putting out a great product or not putting out a great product. And you can't force any of that. You can't force them to be creative. You can't force them to enjoy themselves. So, I mean, focusing on the numbers is good, and you're going to have that, but you're also going to have a strong team that's, in an environment you've curated that is positive and the tone is good.